As we move on to the defending champs, the Utah Utes, who right now have the fourth longest odds, courtesy of DraftKings, to win this conference. They lose Dalton Kincaid, as he was the first-round pick by the Buffalo Bills. But they bring back Cathey, who was expected to be the starter, Brant Cathey, who was hurt last year. You open the season with a Thursday night game against Florida, and then week 2, how about a trip to Waco? Challenge right out of the gate. Cam Rising tore his ACL in the Rose Bowl, but from all accounts, expected to be back. Who does Utah miss in the Pac-12 schedule? They miss Stanford, which is a nice automatic win, and you miss Washington State. So you get all the big boys if you're Utah. A win total sitting at 8.5. 2 interesting non-conference games. I would say one more challenging than the other. Baylor on the road as opposed to Florida at home. How do you look at the Utes in 2023?
Well, I've been a big proponent of Kyle Whittingham for a long time, and the Utes, and they've lost back-to-back Rose Bowls, and Cameron Rising has been knocked out of both of those games. It looks like he's ahead of schedule in his ACL rehab. He's going to be ready for that August 31st opener against Florida. This offense looks really good in terms of skill position talent, but here's the key to the offense. Kyle Whittingham has been there 19 years, Tim. He said this might be the best offensive line in depth and talent he's ever had. And that's saying something because Utah's had some pretty impressive offensive lines. 9 starters back on the defense, which might be the toughest defense in the conference. Oregon State and Utah both have great defenses. Last year you saw in the Pac-12 championship game that Utah was too physical for USC. And I'm not sure if that's going to be the case again, but I think that's an indication of how good this Utah team is on offense and defense, especially on the lines, and how physical the Utes are. A problem here is when you're talking about a win total that you're trying to bet over a high number, Utes have to play road games against USC and Washington, and they also play at Oregon State.
Yep.
So, okay, if you win one of those 3 games, you're probably feeling pretty good about it. But the best you can do at that point is 10-2. I like Utah. I lean over 8.5, 10, but I'm not going to make this a recommendation for a bet because I think the schedule's a little bit too tough to say, go out and fire over 8.5 wins. You can't bet over on all these Pac-12 teams at the top of the league, right?
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.